He was holding a bowl of milk, and he could not drink it, not because he was not thirsty, not because the milk was bad. He stood there, in a small room in Mecca, and the old woman who had given it to him was watching him with patient eyes, waiting. His name was Wuhayb ibn al-Ward. He was not a great commander, not a caliph, not a man written into the large books of conquest. He was a man who thought carefully about what he allowed to enter his body and what that said about the state of his soul. The old woman had brought the milk as a gift. She meant it well. She had walked to bring it, and she had set it down before him, and she had smiled. And Wuhayb had looked at the bowl, and the question had begun to form, slowly, like a crack in dry earth. He asked her quietly where the milk had come from. She told him. She owned a goat. The goat had given milk that morning. It was simple. It was direct. There was nothing between the animal and the bowl but her own two hands. Wuhayb nodded. He looked at the bowl again. He should have been satisfied. The chain was short. The source was known. But his mind did not stop there. His mind took one step further back, and then another.
He asked her, where did the goat come from? She told him. Someone had given it to her. A neighbor, some years ago. A generous act. A clean act. But Wuhayb's face did not change. He asked.
The old woman thought. She was not sure. She believed the neighbor had bought it at the market. Maybe. Or perhaps it had come from a trade, or a debt settled, or a gift received in return for something else. She did not know exactly. She had never asked. Wuhayb was quiet for a long moment. He looked at the bowl. The milk was still white. The bowl was still full. Nothing about the milk had changed, but something in the room had shifted, and the old woman felt it, though she could not name it. He said to her, I want to eat only what is clean. That has always been my rule. If I do not know where a thing comes from, I cannot know if it is clean. And if I cannot know that, then I cannot eat it in peace. That is what he had always believed. The old woman listened. She did not argue. She understood what he was doing. She had seen men like this before, men who carried their conscience like a stone, who would not put it down even when it wore them thin. She waited for him to finish. Then she said something. She did not say it to wound him. She said it plainly, the way you state a fact about the weather. She said, Wuhayb, if that is your rule, then tell me, where does your water come from? He did not answer immediately. He turned the question over. The water came from the well. The well was in the city. The city was built on land. The land had passed through hands, through agreements, through histories that no living person had fully witnessed or recorded. And the bread he ate, where had the grain come from? From a field. And the field, who had worked it? Who had owned the seed? Who had traded the flour before it reached the baker's hands? How many exchanges had happened before it reached him? Wuhayb had spent years narrowing his life. He had reduced what he owned. He had reduced what he ate. He had reduced the number of people he trusted. He had thought, if he made his life small enough, he could make it clean. He had believed this. But the old woman's question had done something to that belief. Not broken it exactly, more like pressed on it, the way you press on a wall you thought was solid and feel it give slightly and realize it was not as solid as you thought. He thought, I can trace the milk back 3 steps and then the chain disappears. But my water, my bread, my sandals, the mat I sleep on, I have never traced any of them. Not once. I accepted them because they were ordinary. I only questioned the milk because someone handed it to me. That was the thing. He had made a rule and he had applied it unevenly. He had applied it to gifts, to things that felt like tests, to things that came from outside his routine. But he had not applied it to the routine itself. The routine had been invisible to him. He sat down. Not dramatically, he simply sat, the way a person sits when they realize the problem is larger than they thought, and they need a moment before they continue. The old woman did not speak. The lamp burned between them. He began to reason it through. He said, perhaps the answer is that I must trace everything. Everything I consume, I must know its full history. That is the only way to be certain. If I cannot trace it, I do not take it. Full stop.
But then he heard what he had just said. And he asked himself, how far back does a full trace go? 1 generation? 2? 5? The land under this city, who held it before the first settlement? Before the first well was dug? Before any...
The trace did not end. Every chain he followed opened into another chain. Every clean source he found had been handed from somewhere older, and that somewhere older had been handed from somewhere older still. There was no first clean hand he could reach, and that was when the question came, not from the old woman this time, from inside him. He asked himself, if the chain has no clean beginning that I can find, and if my rule requires a clean beginning, then what exactly?
He looked at the bowl of milk. He reached toward it. And then he set his hand back down. Not because the milk was unclean. Not because the old woman had done anything wrong. But because he had found a question he could not answer, and he did not.
Every salary enters your account, and you do not ask what it touched before it reached you. Every product you consume passed through a chain of hands, agreements, and places you have never seen. You accepted all of it because it was ordinary. You only questioned the things that felt like tests. The supply chain you never traced is not an abstraction. It is real places, real hands, real exchanges. You simply decided at some point not to look. Not because you are a bad person, because looking is exhausting and life kept moving and the bowl was already in front of you. Vuhaib's question was not about milk. His question was about what you allow to become invisible through repetition. The routine hides the chain. The ordinary makes the trace feel unnecessary. You only question the gift. You never question the habit. What you decided not to ask is not always ignorance. Sometimes it is a choice, and that choice is where the real question lives. Not in the bowl, not in the goat, not in the neighbor who gave the gift. In the moment, you stopped following the chain and called the place where you stopped clean. The search for what is clean does not end when you find a clean source. It ends when you find a question you cannot answer. That is not failure. That is the edge of what a single person can hold. Wuhaib found that edge. He did not pretend it was not there. He set the bowl down. He did not pour it out. He did not hand it back. He simply set it on the floor of that small room in Mecca, and he sat beside it, and he let the question be what it was. A question with no answer he could reach alone in one afternoon with one bowl of milk. Some questions do not resolve. They settle. They become part of the weight you carry, and you carry them more honestly once you have stopped pretending you already know.